This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Well, fat people, we really hate it. I'm speaking for all fat people. We hate being hot. Show me one fat person that likes being hot, and I'm have some words with them. Like, why you playing? You don't like being hot, bro.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
The little things that I appreciate now in life, and this gas station is the gas station of all gas stations.
And what makes it so special?
It's got like a coffee bar in there, kind of.
It is the 24th of March, 2023. My name's Corey Winfield.
My name is Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. And it was brought to my attention by my mama. She said, why you ain't do no podcasting since the 11th of this month? I said, what are you talking about? We did one last week. She said, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. And she said, no, you didn't. I said, Mom, stop. That voice is, you're older than that, you know, like act your age. And I looked on the app and sure as shit, she was right. Again, thanks, Mom, for always being right sometimes. But yeah, somehow it didn't update on the app. So if you get the podcast on the app, we're going to republish it.
So technically, you both were kind of right. Because we did do one. It just didn't post to the...
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that heard it. You know, it was on YouTube. It was on Amazon. It was on Pandora, Apple. It was on all the other ones, just not on our app.
Right.
That we pay $1 million a year for.
Something tells me you're going to look into that.
Oh, and props to Vistaprint. Because the old... Well, I don't want to say the old Corey because I'm working on it. I expect things, especially when you pay with money for things. Mm-hmm. You expect them to be right. And I ordered some mouse pads and they weren't right, man. They looked like, I don't know, it didn't look right. And then one of them had like white because they're black, and then one had like a white, like they had started the roll.
The printing on, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't complain to them. All I did was take a picture of it and I left a comment as a review, and I was like, sucks.
That's what you wrote?
Something like that. And I moved on about my day. And I figured, whatever. And they sent me 10 new ones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so thanks to Vistaprint. And like I said, I didn't have to call nobody. I didn't have to get on a phone and like get on some email chat with somebody who's not in this America. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have to do none of that. It's just they did that. So thanks to Vistaprint for making that right.
Yeah, absolutely. That says a lot about what they do, how they run their company.
Yeah. So I'm going to hit up Subsplash, who we get the app from. I'm going to tell them the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, just keep me posted.
I will. See, Pastor Deb wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens there. Can't miss podcast, man.
Right.
There's their numbers. Their advertisers are going to be pissed.
Oh, my God.
They get their message out. No, but it was a good one. We were talking about your birthday and everything, so.
Yeah, it was a good one. We'll get it out there.
Yeah, we will. So we just got back from Lansing because we had to go to another conference meeting thing.
We're on this conference kick.
And this one wasn't bad, though. It was really interesting, and how they had it laid out was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like one of those how-tos, you know, how to start one of these things. And oh my gosh, they had everything that you would need.
Yeah.
Like they handed you the keys, the blueprint, the car, and said, here you go.
Yeah.
Just find you a spot. And
it was pretty amazing. The thing that I loved about it is like they were really encouraging these programs to actually happen, to be created. And so many people who recognize that there's something that needs to happen, and there's a need out there, and that it's being done somewhere else, and everybody should do it. And then they leave it at that. You should do it. That should happen. There should be more of these. Well, how does that happen? Right? You need to teach people. You need to let them know X, Y, this is how you do it. Here's the steps of how to make this happen. And essentially that's what this conference was.
Yeah.
Was like, bam, here's a booklet on how to make this a reality.
Yeah.
Which was pretty amazing.
Whatever.
It's very rare.
Funding, whatever grant they got to make that, they deserve every single penny and more.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I mean, it's something that needs to happen. And you're right. Everybody should open one of those. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's not beautiful work. It's not really fun work. It can be rewarding work. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, there's going to be sadness. There's going to be frustration. It's not Like, hey, we're going to open a Chuck E. Cheese down the road.
Right.
I mean,
But it's something that's needed.
it is.
But don't you think that so often that it doesn't matter what the program or business or idea is, that people might give you like a little bit, but they like keep their secrets.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I'll just put a little bit out there. I'll give them enough information for them to like pick up and run with it.
Yes, I do.
But I'm not I did all this hard work and I blood, sweat, and tears to make this happen. And I'm not going to let somebody else just use my hard work. And
I did that. Yeah.
yeah. No, they're just like, do it. Please, by all means, be our guest. You're welcome to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty amazing.
And it was very cool too, because when did you go through treatment there in Ann Arbor?
So that was in 2016.
Okay. A few years ago.
It was enough years. It was quite a few years ago.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
But not that long ago.
Yeah. No, not forever ago. Not to the point where I didn't remember it or, it was a good experience. I mean, here's the thing. So this conference or workshop, whatever you want to call it, was put on by an agency. I don't know down in Washtenaw County area. And they put this on to explain. People are probably like, what was it about? Were you going to tell us?
Maybe.
Anyhow, and the people that were presenting it were the people that were running the current program in Washtenaw County. And we're walking in, we're sitting down, and I'm like looking at the people sitting at the front table in their chairs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know that woman. Like, I know her. And when she introduced herself and she was saying, oh, I used to be in this position and now I'm in this position. I'm thinking, I'm counting on my fingers. I'm like, that makes sense. Yep, that'd be the reason why I know her. And so there were so many opportunities that I had throughout that I thought I should go up and say something. But in my head, I'm thinking, I was like one of 40 people in that place at like one sliver of time 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was there in that program for like a month. How she's not going to remember me. And that would be embarrassing, being like, you remember me? And she's like, no. And then the other piece to it too was after I left that program, I didn't continue my sobriety. I mean, I did for a minute, but I had relapsed since then. And so that piece of me was like, I don't have an amazing, awesome, like you changed everything for me. And here, look at me now. This is all because of you. But actually we had a really amazing conversation afterwards. And she came up to me and was like, I think I know you. And I'm like, I wanted to say something, but I didn't know. I didn't think you'd remember me, honestly. And I was very transparent about the reasons why. I said, I did go back out after I was down there and went through your program, but I'll tell you what, if I learned anything from where I am now is that everything happens for a reason, and all the little things that I went through, every therapist that I had, every maybe meeting that I went to, every person that I met, good or bad, taught me something about myself, and so in a way, she was a part of my recovery. And it was pretty amazing because I think she was on the same page. Like, she agreed with that 100%, especially considering what she does. And we'll get into that in a minute. But it was one of those like awesome experiences that you get to have. And she's like, you look amazing. And oh my God, yeah, I remember you, And I was like, well, really? She says, yeah, of course I do. You stood out. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay.
That's weird. You said that, yeah, she wasn't the reason, but she wasn't the reason. She wasn't like the last place you went to, and what she said, it stuck. But you remember what she said. You remember the things that you learned there. Mm-hmm. That's how recovery kind of works, and that's how the journey is. There are many times you probably went to different treatments or different things years before that even. And this little bits and pieces that you started to take, mm-hmm. It's like putting a puzzle together almost, and you get a little bit more, every place you go, you get a little more pieces. And then, you start adding it together, and then finally you're just like, oh wow, this fits together perfect.
Yeah. And I think too that experiences we have, like, going to multiple rehabs or going to, having continuous effort, even if you don't go to rehab, even if you've had continuous efforts in your recovery and maybe they didn't stick, you can reflect on things were going good when I was sober. Like, these are the things I got accomplished when I was sober. This is how I was feeling when I was sober. This is how I looked when I was sober. And those are all things that we can reflect on and be like, I need to get back there. I need to get back to that place, And I mean, when we drive to Ann Arbor now, if we're ever around that area, like, I get chills when we drive down the area because I'm like, I was doing good. I mean, there's other areas of that town we drive through and I'm like, I remember not being so good, and that's just part of recognizing where you are now and being okay with knowing where you've been, good and bad, as long as you're celebrating and currently doing well in your recovery. Yeah.
I think a huge part for both of us, really. Well, I mean, you lived in Traverse City before, but for me, like, not being around the stuff that I was used to and the places, like you said, those streets that you can go down and go, oh, like, that's not good. Like Buchanan, like, I loved Buchanan when I was sober because it was new and I never lived there before. But there were some dark times there as well. And so I kind of have mixed emotions about that city, like you said, it's like, it's tough, but being in Traverse City and going to sober living in Boyne City, I didn't know anybody there. It was nice, for me to just go to the store and not see anybody I knew and not have to explain something to them or talk to them. And not that I don't like talking to people, but I kind of don't like talking to people. But I do. If I meet you, I love talking to people. But sometimes it's just overwhelming, especially when you're just white knuckling it, trying to hang on, And I told you a story about the guy who walked up behind me when I was trying to buy some liquor.
Maybe you did.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll tell that another day.
Oh yeah, at Meyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was some God stuff right there.
Well, one more thing too on that note is this last conference was in Lansing, which is another reflection on places, people, places, and things of your past. And so I went to Michigan State for undergraduate, and so Lansing butts up to East Lansing, obviously. And I can't help but thinking, like, that is where my addiction was born, if that makes sense. I mean, that's where my addiction first actually surfaced, was in that town. That's where it became a reality to me. And that's kind of creepy and kind of sad. But there were so many other memories about that place also, and so much good was done there. I mean, I graduated with honors from that college. I did amazing things there, but it's funny how you find yourself reflecting on all of it, like the big picture.
And you said before, a long time ago, that's where the drinking started. But you also, that's the first time that you realize, like, hey, when the drinking kind of rolls into the next day. Mm-hmm. And so I assume that's when you also realized, like, for real, like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah. I definitely was, because I'm like, this is not normal college partying drinking. Like, my body is telling me that I'm addicted to alcohol. I'm having physical symptoms, and I can't laugh about it anymore. The whole hair of the dog thing, right. And like Sunday fun day, no, that was me not stopping. So, and that's when I first was recognized. I mean, I was, and lots of times, everybody, I would say the majority of people actually have put their finger on the fact that they know that they're addicts or alcoholics and just don't say it out loud. And it's just too scary to actually say, because if you're not ready to do something about it, why are you going to say it?
Right.
Not always. Lots of times, though.
And other people will tell you, too, and that just kind of makes us mad.
Yeah.
I thought I was hiding that. You don't know. I was just doing that because it's Sunday, fun day, or, whatever. Mm-hmm. You always have the excuse, like, ready to go. And, mine was, well, once I get married and have kids, which is a huge lie that I was trying to sell myself because A, no one was going to marry me because I was drunk. And B, if I'd had kids, I'd just been a drunk dad. Addiction does not work that way. If it was easy, everybody would already stop and they would figure it out.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take people a lot of times going to treatment. It wouldn't take people so much heartbreak and effort. It would be easy. And I wish it was, but it's not. And just because someone, as you say, can't stop drinking, he must not love his kids. That's not true. It has nothing to do with it. And it was soon, I hope it's soon, as soon as people can start realizing that, addiction does affect the brain and it changes your brain chemistry. It changes what you need. It changes what you want. At least that's what your brain tells you. Your brain tells you, man, to live, you need more alcohol. And it doesn't. And it doesn't have a conversation with you. Hey, Corey. Hi, brain. Let's have a conversation. Okay. I think you need some. No, you just and you need it. You feel it.
You feed it.
Yeah. And your brain's back there telling you can just do it, man. Do it today. No one's going to know, man. You really need it. It's going to help you feel better. Come on, let's do it. And you do. And then boom, once you take that first drink, you're done. Once you take that first hit, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, stay away from the first drink. Some wise guy told me that. And I started thinking, yeah, let me just stay away from the first drink. And people talk about, I have cravings. Okay. I have thoughts. But for me, a craving is when I already have that first drink, when that first whatever I'm drinking goes, that's when the cravings start. That's when I cannot turn it off. So it's tough though. And I think if people can realize that and accept it for what it is and actually have a conversation with somebody about it without pointing the finger or making them feel bad.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, not everybody has to go to treatment.
Right.
There's outpatient, but just talk to a therapist. Like there's different things that you can do. You don't have to run to treatment. But treatment is something I needed because I was hard-headed. I still thought that, no, I can still do it one day. Like if somebody were to come to me and they're like, hey, Corey, you're always broke. Let me take a look at your finances. Okay, here you go. Oh, well, Corey, it looks like you have a Netflix account that comes out of your checking. It looks like you also have a Netflix account that comes out of your Apple account. Oh, and you have another one that's hooked up to your Google stuff. Oh, you're paying for Netflix 3 times. Well, I would stop paying for Netflix, right? At least a couple times. Maybe all of it. It kind of sucks now. But I would take those steps to change that because I'm tired of being broke, right? Well, the same thing kind of goes with addiction, and the life that you're living now. And it all comes back to change. You need to change some things. I would change the fact that I'm not going to pay for 3 Netflix accounts. Makes sense, right? Well, if you take like drinking or using drugs in the same way, the same light, and you're like, I don't like the way I'm living. All right, Corey, let's take a look at your life. All right, well, you're drunk all the time. Here's the bad things that happen when you're drunk all the time. I'm like, okay, well, I need to change that. A lot of people don't know how. And that's where treatment really came in for me. But I was just trying to barely put my foot in the water. My freshly clipped toenails. I just wanted to, which I clipped them last week, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, so I'm just like dipping my toes in. All right, well, it's warm. It feels good, but let me pull it back out. All right, well, nope, nothing changed. And then I get down to my knee and then, a little bit more every time. But it doesn't have to be that way for everybody. If they can stop and look at their life really and go, But again, addiction, it creeps up and it tells you, and you can have 3-4 months and you're doing great. People are telling you you're awesome. You're doing great. Your life's coming together again. And boom, you go out and drink and it really sucks us down. Those relapses really hurt and it feels impossible. Like, nope, I guess I can't do it. I let everybody down again. But look at what you learned. You did have some clean time. So let's get back on it. And I don't knock people for relapsing. I think it's sad when they don't come back. Sometimes they die, but I mean, when they just stay out there, like there are people that I know that I went to treatment with that are just, I don't know if they gave up or what, but it's just sad to see that happen. And they're burning bridges along the way. And it's like, what do you want me to do now? And like, they don't even call me anymore.
Yeah. And
that kind of makes me sad, but they're only going to call me if A, they think, which they know I'm not going to give them money, or B, if they need help, you know, but it's like, okay, well, they're either A, not that bad, or B, they're just too ashamed to reach out for help.
Never be too ashamed to ask for help.
No, but sometimes, but you know what it feels like.
I know exactly what it feels like. I just have to say the words because it's just you need to just put your pride aside if you have any left. I mean, this is coming from my own experience. Yeah. Put your whatever you got. Like I'm telling you, it's only going to get worse, you know. And then for to just soften the whole concept, and this is where you and me, I mean, we know, and all the people that are in, you know, the health profession to help people with substance use disorder know is to like wrap your arms around them and be like, you're not a bad person. You know, you just have a problem. You have a disease, right? Like we need to address this. Like we're here to help you. We want to help you. We're not here to shame you. We're not here to talk bad about you. We're not here to point out all the bad things you've done. This is about turning things around and making things better for you. And we want to help you do that. But like, that's not the messaging that people get. It's shame on you. Get your shit together. What are you doing with your life? You know, and it's negative, or it's negative undertone, you know, to where there's like, well, crap, you know, like forget you. I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear about how bad I am. I already know how bad I am, you know, and then it's just, they keep on going. And if they don't get that sincere, you know, response or sincere messaging, then they're not going to have that conversation on a level where maybe you can get through to them.
And if somebody might be listening that says, well, look, my son or daughter, they've done this 8 times and I told them they can't do it at my house and they did it at my house again. Well, then you have to change. Mm-hmm. You know, like they really need to take the steps that they need to take. And yeah, I had to follow rules like that too. But then when mom's was out of town or whatever it was, you know, when I was alone by myself, that's when it kind of crept in and that's when the damage started to happen. But there are people out there too that, you know, they're just like, I don't really want to change and it'll be okay. And they're just going through it. They'll want to change one day, hopefully. I mean, there's only a few outcomes in this addiction world, you know, and it's you either live or you die or you go to jail. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, there's how many, don't tell me that old lady, because every once in a while they'll be like, oh, there's a lady that's 101. She's like, I drink every day.
Yeah.
No, you don't. They switched that, put water in it a long time ago. But how many, you know, addicts do you know that are 80? No, I don't know any.
No, I don't know.
You know, they usually die in their 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
And now with all the other stuff coming around, it's 20s. You know, you're not going to live long. And it's just.
Unless, like, you know, you got little old ladies that started on pills and because of some kind of surgery and then, you know, got addicted, which happens. I can't remember who was telling me about that their grandma is like, is like addicted to is now addicted to Vicodin. Mm. So that's real. I mean, that's a real thing. It can start late. It can start whenever, especially if you want to go into that whole genetic predisposed thing.
It'll never happen to me. That's what I thought.
All right.
And then even, you know, I had to deal with the peels. Sorry, that's how Tyrone says it. Get my peels. But I had the run-in when I had my gallbladder out, you know, and I did a podcast, a couple of them about it, you know, and how I realized that I was taking them every 4 hours, even if I didn't need them, you know, I was just taking them and take them. And then with the tolerance, you know, 1 turned to 2 and 3. And then depending how bad my stomach hurt, you know, I had to take more. And it was just like, wait a minute, like sometimes I don't even need it and I'm taking them, you know, and that's when I started writing them down. I talked to my doctor and was like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write down the times that I took it. That way I know and I can hold myself accountable because I could see where that would just go off.
Yeah.
You know, and off the rails quick. And, gambling is which we talked about, I think a couple podcasts ago, is something else that people turn to. And I feel bad for people who gamble. They're throwing it right in your face. And it's kind of the same as the alcohol person. You're not doing it responsibly. You need to gamble responsibly. Responsible gambling is what we're about.
Only gamble what you can afford.
Yeah. Responsible drinking.
It's about risk taking.
So I drink until I stop shaking.
The whole thing is about risk taking, and there people and addicts will agree with this too. I mean, alcoholics, etc. But it's about being extreme risks, right? Like there's a piece to that. That's a high. People get a high off that.
Yeah, and the guy that I was in the gambling thing that we went to, gambling addiction thing we went to, the guy was talking about how in the back of his mind, he was always, because no matter what he lost, he always in the back of his mind thought he was going to get it back.
Yeah.
10 times full. And he just thought, man, I'm going to buy everybody in the family a car, buy so-and-so a house, I'm going to set everybody up. And it was to set everybody else up. It was never like, hey, I'm going to win this and buy myself a boat. It was to show everybody else what you could do for them. Like he wasn't providing enough for the other people. And he was a lawyer and he made a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And he was still wanting to provide for everyone else. When if he just would have saved his money, he probably could have. But it's just one of those things that they want other people to enjoy in the same thing. And just people who drink do the same thing. At first, anyway, like we want people to get drunk with us. And yeah, man, it's a good time. Come on. And then at the end, you're just alone. I think that might be the same with the gambling addict, but I don't know that for sure. At first they're going with their friends, but then at the end they're sneaking off. If they get, 2-hour break and they're off, and they get the same rush in their brain that we get from a chemical, and that's gotta be crazy. That's gotta be hard because with alcohol, well, just don't drink the alcohol. Okay. That sounds good, but still, that's something that we have to put in our body, but to have that same kind of craving or desire thought process to go do that without even putting anything in your body, that's got to be intense. Mm-hmm. And they're the bad people, just like the people who drink. You didn't do it responsibly. It's your fault. Even though in the hospital, if you go there and you're drinking, they're going to fix the guy who climbed the tree. I keep using that story about the guy climbing the tree when he shouldn't have been climbing the tree. He fell and broke his arm. Oh, that guy, you should have been climbing the tree. Let's just get you patched up. You're the bigger idiot. Everybody told you not to climb the tree. Yet the guy who's drinking, they were telling me on TV how fun it was going to be when I saw the commercial or I was watching the TV show about how the guy came home from work and he was stressed. Oh, I got to have a beer. Oh, this is going to be a 6-pack night, and everybody's laughing. They hit the laugh track and the show next morning is like, oh, I got drunk last night. Laugh track again. Mm-hmm. That's what we're being told. But yet we get kicked and spit on and treated like dirt when we go in for help.
Yeah.
It's effed up, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the senator about that. Betsy Coffea.
I know.
I think that's how you say her last name. That's how I'm going to say it. On April 4th.
That's awesome.
I'm going to rap at her a little bit. I saved her. We got something in the mail from her today. Mm-hmm. I saved it. I was like, okay. She says she's against big business. I'm going to ask her about that. Because I got a plan. I know I'm like, if you see me right now, I'm like the evil.
You have evil
cartoon character. I'm like doing my hands like, yeah.
It's evil plan hands.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Nah, for real though. I got some good stuff I'm talking to her about. Here's the thing. Let me get into it a little bit. Maybe she listens and maybe she can be prepared. She had on there that, like, people need to have background checks before they buy guns, and they need to do this and that before they buy guns. I don't know. Because lately, what I've been hearing on the news is it's not the people buying the guns. It's the people not locking them up safely. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So are they going to have do you lock stuff up safety tests for people?
Maybe they should.
Yeah, pass that one. Because you can pass a background check. I mean, the guy in Vegas, that guy. Why did he do that? Oh, I don't know. What if it came out that he was a gambling addict? Mm-hmm. They wouldn't say that. They'd just be like, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he had enough of Vegas. It was like, you know what? This place ruined my life. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's quite possible.
Yeah.
If that guy passed a background check, you know, like, okay, you know, there's different ways we can do about it. But what if we offered free therapy to everybody? I know insurance companies right now are losing their shit. Oh, no, don't, Corey. That's the worst idea ever, because then we're going to have a demand and we're going to need therapists and we're going to lose a bunch of money. But wouldn't that be a better idea? Wouldn't that, though?
You're talking to a therapist in training, so
I know, but I mean, just somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids, you know, and it was something about kids doing something else too. And I was like, if we just talk to the kids, if the kids would have somebody to talk to and not have people talk at them,
right?
You know, give them options, let them figure it out. You know, giving people options is a great thing. You know, then they get to choose. And you can lay all the options out. Hey, A, B, C, D. Here you go. What do you want?
Yeah.
We're going to do this. Okay, how you going to do that? Okay, cool. But just talk to them. Get that stuff out, man.
Yeah.
I guarantee it would help a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
But no, we'll do background checks or something. I don't know. That's not going to do anything. Anyway, I don't know. It's just my thought. It's my 2 cents.
I like it.
It's
I
free.
like it.
So Betsy Coffea.
So you're just going to tell her that that's your plan.
I'm going into way more detail. But
oh, she's going to cut you off for
I'm
sure.
going to go into the big business thing. But yeah, we'll see. Because insurance is big business. In Michigan, they love them insurance companies.
Yeah.
I mean, people in Michigan don't, but politicians and other people do for some reason. Yeah.
I want to be like, instead of telling me what you do, I mean, like, what do you cover? Why don't you just tell me that part? Mm-hmm. Because as far as I can tell, you pretty much don't cover much of anything.
And I'm glad that people that are on Medicaid can go and get the help they need. But then that costs a therapist, you know, because they don't bill the same rate for that. Because Medicaid's like, nope, we're only paying this. So it's like half, sometimes a quarter of the price.
Or I can tell you right now that that's why only like 1/10 of any private practices, or probably agencies for that matter, actually take Medicaid, any sort of insurance that's Medicaid.
Yeah. But if it was,
or Medicare even,
if it was leveled out and there was like an agreed upon price for everybody, you know, not just the Medicaid saying this is what we're going to pay and that's it, damn it. No, because we have more money. Because guess what? Taxpayers are still going to pay for it. You know, it's just that they're not throwing it to the insurance companies first.
Right.
You know, so that really would help to kind of fund everybody. And there's enough money going around. They could figure it out. But it shouldn't be at the expense of the person who went to school and who trained and is professional at it. They shouldn't have to suffer.
Right.
But just, the Winfield plan, we'll call it.
Free therapy.
Yeah. I think that's a better plan than let's do some more background checks. Okay. Yeah. How about a 3-week waiting period? Okay. You think they're going to wait 3 weeks?
Right.
They've been waiting their whole life. You know, people are going to do bad stuff, they're going to do bad stuff. But if it can be prevented before that by talking about it with somebody and coming up with better options.
Where is this anger? Where's this confusion?
I don't know what's really going on there, man.
Yeah.
You know, have somebody with some compassion. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Let's play the tape forward.
I don't know. Whatever you say.
How is this going to turn out for not just you, but for people that you love? People that don't even know you.
Yeah.
Think of the aftermath of all of it.
I don't know. There's other ways that can be done. I don't know. Then that's probably not the way to do it, but just somebody's got to think outside the box here, man.
Yeah.
And stop just, we can't do that because the insurance companies do it. No, we can do whatever we want. It's our country, isn't it?
I think that the mass shootings is really a topic that I think everybody's trying to wrap their heads around it and figure out What can we do like now, like right now? You know, mental illness, which is behind a lot of these, obviously, is the main reason. But it's like the here and now, like, there's no magical wand for let's just cure mental illness. I mean, it's been around forever and it will be around forever, but it can be managed, and counseling and therapy is a huge piece of that.
And how many people who are, suffering with a substance use disorder, how many people is that going to help, the free therapy? How many domestic violence cases are not going to be around because people are talking about their problems and people are working through their issues?
Well, I mean, in therapy, here's the kicker. People don't ever think about like providing therapy for the abuser, but they need therapy. Like people always think like, oh, the victims, and I didn't say that to be like condescending, like, oh, the victims are the ones who, of course they need therapy. They've been through traumatic experience, but you need the individual who's the abuser needs therapy. What's driving this anger? Where is this coming from? Where is it stemming from? And what are some alternatives of way you can handle anger that is not, violence?
Yeah, and a lot of times there's abuse that goes on in the home when they're younger. Maybe there's a substance use disorder going on, and it can be a woman, it could be a man, it could be either. Mm-hmm. It has a problem, and they take it out on the child, and the child gets older and he learns. It's like if you teach your kid, if you spank your kid, I don't know. I was spanked a couple of times, but like if you like spank your kid a lot, you teach them that when people don't do something that you want, you hit them, you cause them physical harm. And they grow up and somebody does something that they don't like. Well, what's their first reaction? Well, I'm going to hit you.
Right.
Because you're doing something that is unacceptable to me and that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So, like that goes on. So not saying that
it's complicated.
It's okay or that it's good, but to get that out, especially when they're young, if they have free therapy. And that's the thing too. It's like, oh, if we had free therapy, those people could have went because they were on Medicaid or this or that. Well, did they know? Did they know they could try out different therapists?
Right.
Maybe they didn't have the right one.
Absolutely.
Just because you have a therapist doesn't mean that
is a real thing, people. It's okay if you don't jive with your therapist. Get another therapist. It's fine. They won't lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
It's just about you. It's about you getting the help you need.
If you're going to a therapist now and you don't feel 100% comfortable, you're not telling what's really going on, you're just kind of wasting your time and you're wasting their time.
Mm-hmm.
You can find another one. Just say it's not you, it's me.
Kind of like a barber, right?
You don't have to tell them. Yeah, just call your insurance, call your Medicaid, whoever, and just say, look, I need to find a new one. Can you help me?
Well, it would be helpful if you did tell them, but you don't have to tell them why.
You just cancel the appointment. Say, I'm
say this isn't working out.
I'll try somebody else. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm hurt there. Shut up. Be selfish. Been selfish your whole damn life. You can be selfish with your therapist that you don't like.
I was just about to speak for all therapists, so I can't do that. I was going to say no therapist because I'm going to tell you, try to talk you back into, coming back to them if you're like, I don't think this is working out. Because if it's not working out, it's not working out. Right. But that's not true. I'm sure it happens.
If they have a problem with it, they can talk to their therapist about it.
It's not best practice, though, yeah. If they want to go, then they should find somebody that works for them. And you should congratulate them for being vocal and taking action and being true to themselves.
So let's go off topic again. This is a good one. I was thinking about something the other day. I almost put it on Facebook, but I thought people would start trolling me. I was watching Ancient Aliens the other day, right? It's a great show. And I started thinking, you know how people have the question, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what came first, the sperm or the egg?
I don't know. Are you looking at the this like the whole Adam Eve beginning of time thing.
Man,
Well, that's a whole all over. That's all over the place.
I know. Because they're going to be like, well, Jesus came down, remember? Oh, not Jesus, but God. He created Adam and Eve, remember? Uh-huh. But then what? Because you can't do the incest thing, right? Oh, but there was other people around. I heard that one before. I was like, well, wait, if there's other people around, where they come? What Jesus made? God made them too. Okay, but he didn't talk about them? Well, he kind of does in this one, but not really, but yeah. So he's made a bunch of people. Just boom, just put them there. Just 38-year-old man. Boom, there you go. What's up, Adam?
What makes you think Adam and Eve are brother and sister?
Well, their babies would make babies with themselves, with their brothers and sisters.
Ah, I see.
Well, you think Adam was out there just laying seeds?
Stop it.
You're like, I don't like that vision. But I don't know. Again, my alien belief, it makes sense. That aliens used humans as workers, and then somebody was like, you know what? I'm going to make these guys into something that I want. We're done with this planet anyway.
This might be a lot for these listeners.
Good thing this is at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just how about people, if you're interested in what Corey's talking about, or you would want to have a conversation about this, watch Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. They're all pretty much not the same, but they're different versions of that's what we came from as aliens. 4
or 5 season. That's a good one.
So
yeah, it's insane the stuff that's happening and stuff that does happen, and you just think about like what makes sense. And I'm not saying, I mean, I do believe in God, and I believe that God would have made the aliens. God could be the alien, doing quotation marks here.
that's deep, babe.
I know.
Like
I know, and I was just put it out there on Facebook.
I got nothing.
We'll talk to Betsy Coffia about that.
No, please.
I'm like, hey.
Please do not.
And I want rights for aliens.
She's going to be like, oh my god.
They've been here for years.
She's like,
didn't
you
you
sure
know?
you don't want to circle back to that mental illness thing?
Like, I need a therapist now. I have my therapist on the call too. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to get her in right now. She thinks I'm crazy when I bring out the stuff up too. I'm just saying, man, it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. What did come first? If you're like, oh, God created Adam and Eve, or just take that out for a minute. Because not everybody believes that either. But what came first then, the human or the egg? We gotta have the human, right? Because without the human, there's no egg.
Right? I don't know, hon.
It's deep.
It's deep.
You think about how crazy the body is, the human body, and how it's like put together, and the DNA, and anyway, watch the show is what Marnie said.
Watch the show
because
if you're interested,
time to do 18 seasons right now of Ancient Aliens. It's Friday night. We got stuff to do.
Prepare yourself for a debate. Then yeah, I would encourage you to watch the show.
It's a good one.
It's really actually interesting to watch, even if you're a skeptic, because they say stuff that makes sense. I mean, for sure.
Yeah,
a lot of it is very scientific and does make sense with like proof and all that stuff. So,
and yeah, they're not like saying, "Hey, these big bug-eyed people came down here and did this and they abducted people." They're not even trying to say that. Just watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Okay, done. That's all I
Phew.
got. Thanks for listening, though.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
And if you didn't check out the last one, if you only listen on the 217 Recovery app, we will republish the Happy Saint Birthday episode from St. Patrick's Day. So go ahead and listen to that one. That is a pretty good one. I liked it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, so we'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app and support recovery by rating us in the App Store.